Hi, this is RGK, and today I will talk about a game that is very different from usual, Manual Samuel. It's a story-driven game that plays in single-player or cooperative. Graphically, it reminds me of the Flash animations from around the year 2000, but in practice it works quite well and makes me feel like I am playing in an animation movie that is 2 or 3 hours long. It's short for a game, but it's not exactly the sort of content that would be fun on a lengthy period of time, as we are about to discover. So, we are playing Samuel, a rich tool who is completely disconnected from everything. Following a dispute with his girlfriend, he ends up dead and in hell. The game does not pull any punches when it comes to insulting the main character, as well as gratuitous jabs at hipsters. Comedy in the game does not always hit the right notes, such as, "Oh, the truck driver who drove over Samuel puked. Oh lol, so funny." But besides a few flat jokes at times to times, there are events that refer to previous parts of the story that are well written. And the fact that there is consistently a story going on and the narrator is always commenting the action of Samuel, I was completely caught in the game and I appreciated its adventure. Voice acting is right on point. Back to Samuel's death, he then goes to hell, and Death offers him a deal. If he manages to survive 24 hours in manual mode, it can get back to life. So, what's manual mode? For example, breathing. You do it unconsciously. The body does it automatically for you, except when you're thinking about it, and then you can control it. In the game, it's about manually controlling every single thing. Breathing, blinking, putting one foot in front of the other when you walk, correctly aligning the spine, and so on. Every action is controlled by a button on the controller or the keyboard, and when playing in co-op, it's just shared on both controllers and the players need to synchronize their commands. This kind of principle might remind you of the sprinting game Co-op or Octodad and its octopus in a suit that tries to pass off as a human. Except that Co-op is ultra precise and technical, every step is an ordeal, whereas Octodad's concept is funny with the tentacles to manage, but in reality it is very approximative and frustrating. In Manual Samuel, actions are easy to manage, it's just that there are a lot of them and the brain gets confused. So if the player fails, it's because the player missed a step and not because the game is punitive. And this distinction changes everything. The game is not frustrating, it's pleasant. And when the character is lying face down without mustering the courage to get back up, it represents a player who made a mistake and needs to take a break to realign their brain, then try again. The game communicates information to the player in a satisfactory manner. The character becomes blue when he lacks oxygen, and it's obvious from his eyes or the screen colorimetry that blinking is required. This way to guide the player is very elegant and integrates smoothly game mechanics and narration. When the player is struggling, the game will also display the right button to press, so we are never lost or frustrated. Of course, having to manage breathing can be scary, but the game is never too burdensome, frequency is manageable, and we are never punished or forced to lose much progress. Except toward the end, but I'll come back to this later. Besides vital functions, there are mini-games for daily trials such as brushing teeth without swallowing the toothpaste, taking a shower without dropping the soap, putting clothes on, or driving a car. The driving sequence is fantastic, and just by itself it justifies the acquisition of this game. Just to annoy Samuel, the car has a manual transmission, and the player has to synchronize the foot pedals, the gears and the steering wheel to avoid grannies crossing the street, without forgetting to breathe. Furthermore, there is a rather cool story sequence playing in the background that makes the whole experience very enjoyable. And yes, I am saying enjoyable, because it's surprisingly easy to follow and fun to manage despite the constraints. The deaf character is ridiculous, yet adorable. Problem is, once the player makes progress to the robot factory, difficulty skyrockets. There is a very difficult sequence in which you should not lose a single second or a door closes on you, and if you fail, it takes a while to set it up again. Right after, the game becomes more and more epic. There are even boss battles. Everything requires good coordination, which is nice, but these sequences are too lengthy. We don't die, so we can succeed after many tries, but repetitivity starts to settle because all the little fun tasks that we enjoyed until now are gone. I won't spoil the final boss battle, because it's sort of cool, but the final fight requires a lot of maneuvers with perfect timing, not always very clear to the player, and drags on for an eternity. Meh. Most players drop the game without finishing it, despite it only lasting 2 to 3 hours. Since we are talking about the flows, Leaving the game crashes it for me, and sometimes the buttons are not recognized anymore, so I leave crash then restart. Anyway, even though the last chapters are a bit drawn out, just for the first part I find the game to be a great experience. It's roughly $10 on Steam, although during sales it falls to $3, it would be a shame to miss it. It's captivating and controlling the character is fun and less frustrating than in similar games, and with such a core concept, it was no easy task to pull it off. I hope you enjoyed this video, bye bye!